Take two. All right, we're gonna go live on Facebook, and it looks like I am going to have to use my Facebook. All right. Hello, everyone. So this is my first time going live on my Facebook. Let's see who's able to join. Let's see. How's everyone doing? I have to do a few things so I can sorry, doing a few things at once. I'm not sure if you can hear me. If you can hear me, wave hi. Manage your badges. I don't know how to do this. So I normally go live from Ainhoa's profile and all of the settings are set. However, we were having some technical difficulties. And right now I am not sure how to tag them. So that's what I'm trying to figure out. If you see me like doing stuff on the computer, that's what I'm doing. Or if I'm not talking, that's what I'm doing. How's everyone doing? Andrea, if you can hear me, let me know. So guys, we are 12 days away from Christmas. Who's ready? I'm not sure I am. Let's see. Has everyone bought all of their gifts? Hi, Wendy. Thanks for joining. How are you? Okay, so I'll figure out how to tag the team. Thank you for joining again, guys. So this is our 8th episode, our 8th and last one. Again, for the ones that have joined, for the ones that know me, and for the ones that don't. My name is Nancy Sanchez. I am with Realty of Chicago and Team Ainhoa Garcia. So we've been doing these Facebook Lives for the past 8 weeks. This is a series of Facebook Lives where we go into detail and like every single step of the home buying process. So we have had great guests, professionals in the field, where we've been able to ask them questions and really see what goes behind the scenes, right, when you're under contract. And even before that, right, we were able to speak to some lenders and see how you can get prepared to get pre-approved. attorneys, inspectors, appraisals. So this is great. So today we're actually going to talk about a final walkthroughs and the closing day. So we have a special guest whom I will invite shortly. I'm able to figure this out. Let's see. All right. Am I even live? I hope I'm live, or else I've just been talking out of nowhere. So guys, I have a good friend of mine. Okay, I have a good friend of mine, and she's like, listen, you should tell a joke. And I said, what? How am I going to tell a joke? Again, let me remind you, I'm pretty new to this Facebook Live thing. And actually, I would like for you to engage as much as possible. So please ask any questions that you may have. But aside from that, since we're in the spirit of giving, I want to mention two things. One, for the ones that have been following us, and if you don't, please follow us on our social media, whether it be Ainhoa Garcia on her Facebook page and Instagram, myself on my Facebook page or Instagram, or Andrea. We're hosting our second annual Christmas tree contest. So we love to see our clients decorate their homes for the holidays, right? So a lot of them do send us pictures of their holiday decorations. So we had an idea. We're like, listen, we get all these pictures. We would love to gift them something. So we're having a lot of our clients submit their Christmas trees, and you, their friends and families and our viewers, you'll be able to vote for your favorite Christmas tree. And the winner will be able to win a 55-inch TV. So go to our social media, vote for your favorite Christmas tree. And then I also wanted to keep you engaged. So in order to do that, I'm going to tell a joke. I'm bad at telling jokes, but I'm still going to do it. I'm going to try this. She dared me, so I'm going to do it. And the first person that responds with the correct answer, I will buy him coffee. So coffee will be on me. All right. Let's see who gets this. And friend of mine, you cannot respond. Sorry, because you already know this. So really quick. What do you call a detective who is also a real estate agent? Let's see who gets that. So again, the first person that responds with the correct answer will get coffee on Nancy, Team Ainhoa Garcia. And let's see who's paying attention. Okay. All right. So without further ado, I want to invite our special guest this evening. Again, today we will be talking about getting prepared for the closing and what that entails. So today we have invited attorney Bill Iverson, whom we have worked with for a couple years already. So let me go ahead and bring him on. Oh boy. Let me figure this out again. Here we are. All right. Bill, can you hear us?
I can. Can you hear me?
There we go. Hi.
Hello.
Welcome, welcome. So I was having some technical difficulties. One with Facebook. Two, I wasn't sure if I was live. So I apologize for making you wait. But how are you?
No, all good. I'm doing fine. I'm doing fine. No worries. It was fun to just be stuck in my thoughts for a little while there. So deal.
Good. I'm glad to hear. So how's your week been?
Good, good, good. We've had a consistent amount of closings, so that's been keeping me busy, and you know, no complaints. We got the holidays coming up, and I see the background there is pretty festive. So
I
looks like you're
know.
ahead of me in that regard.
Yeah. Sorry, someone is. Yo tengo llave. Everyone left the office and they just locked me in and they want to make sure that I have a key to leave when I'm ready to leave. So I'm like,
Hey.
guys, I'm on a Facebook Live. Anyway, no, that's great. Yeah, so we're 12 days away from Christmas. I was just mentioning to whoever's watching that this will be our last Facebook Live. So I decided to be a little festive and like you mentioned before. Hopefully it's not too busy. But yeah, so Bill, so today I want to talk about, again, you know, the day of closing. But before we do that, can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Sure. I own my own real estate practice. I'm a real estate attorney. Been practicing real estate strictly for about 7 years. Probably done close to 3,000 real estate transactions, maybe a little bit more. We tend to run a lot of them. We probably do 5 or 6 of them a week, sometimes maybe more. And I have a practice with my twin brother and my mom, so it's a family practice. We're a small business.
That's
and
awesome.
We just really like helping people, like getting them into homes and helping sellers sell their homes.
Absolutely. That's awesome. I know about your twin brother, but I didn't know about your mom. So that's great. So I'm sure I've been in contact with her. I just didn't know she was your mom.
Yeah, she's on the email thread. She's Laura on there, the principal.
Got it. Got it. That's so cool. I love it. It's a family business. Nice.
Yeah.
So 3,000 closings. You must have some stories. I can only imagine.
Yeah. For another time.
For another time. Great. Okay, so I do want to start. So we don't take much of everyone's time. So we went over the last time the appraisal, right? So we've gone through every single step, right? And we have now come to getting prepared to closing. So once the appraisal has been completed, we've received the report and everything looks good. We wait for what we call a CTC, or what is called a clear to close. So what a clear to close basically means is that you as a buyer, whoever's watching, you have been fully approved. So you have met all the conditions to close on your mortgage and you are ready to go. That's like, those are the 3 magical letters that we want to see on an email.
We wait for,
right? Exactly, that we wait for. So as soon as we get a CTC or a clear to close, that's when we're like, yes, we high five, you know, everyone, and we're ready to, we're at the finish line basically, right, Bill?
For sellers too, you know, this is the aha moment, right? There's a lot of apprehension when you're selling your property. Oh, are they going to get approved? What's next? Are we going to get another inspection request? Are we going to get this? No, once we're clear to close, you're selling your house. It's happening.
Right. Absolutely. Yes. Thank you for bringing that up. But yes, you're absolutely right. So it's great for everyone involved, both, you know, sellers, buyers. So once we have that CTC or that clear to close from your lender or mortgage company, it is then that your real estate agent, so ourselves, team Ainhoa Garcia, will be in contact with you, buyer, to schedule a final walkthrough. So what is a final walkthrough? A final walkthrough is a final visit to the property. So we have not seen the property since the day of the home inspection, right? And that could be weeks ago, right? And a lot of things can happen in one day. So imagine what, you know, could happen in a few weeks. So we want to make sure we view the home before we close. In order to do that, we'll schedule a date to view the home, normally the day before, but we prefer to do it the morning of closing. And we do that for a few reasons. One, we want to make sure that the property is still standing, right? It's in good condition. It's an acceptable condition for you, the buyer. And 2, if we have requested any repairs from the seller, we want to make sure that the seller has completed those repairs. So we're going to go there with you with our little attorney letter, and we're going to check off the boxes. Okay, they did this, they did that, and that, and that, right? So it's important to go to a final walkthrough. We always suggest our buyers to, you know, to attend one. It's actually like mandatory for us. So once that has been completed, then that's when they go to you, Bill, right? So you take over that. So can you kind of go over what they need to prepare themselves for a closing?
Sure. So I think it's important to start off with, don't stress out, right? This is so big. The closing is more ceremonial than anything. At this point, we've done our inspection, we've got through the appraisal, you've met all the conditions on the mortgage. It's time to relax. Like, we're ready. We're going to be homeowners soon.
Yes, yes, the
Hopefully
hard work has been done.
Yeah, yes, yeah. So hopefully the inspection went well, right? And you kind of touched on that a little bit. You do a final walkthrough to make sure that if there was things that were supposed to be fixed or repaired by the sellers, they actually got repaired. Sometimes that doesn't happen, though. And I know, Nancy, I know you've seen this probably a few times in your career, and I've certainly seen it a dozen or more. The sellers are very busy. This is nothing against the seller. They're moving, they have moving companies. They're trying to get their stuff out of the house. It has to be in broom clean condition when they leave. And so there's a lot of moving parts happening here. And sometimes they forget to do things. And so what we'll do first and foremost is usually after that walkthrough, Nancy will tell me, hey, Bill, there's an issue here. The sellers forgot to do this, or they missed this. And it's a simple fix. We can negotiate a credit. A lot of times the sellers know that they should have done something and they haven't done it, and they're willing to do that. And more often than not, we're able to get things settled and keep a stressful situation less stressful. So I think that's kind of a good spot to start. Once that's done, then we're on our way to closing, right? And so what we need is a couple things. You don't need a lot. Valid IDs are big. There is going to be a lot of paperwork, right? 100+ documents that your lender is going to give to you that you have to sign because you're obligating yourself to pay the mortgage back and the loan. And so what you want to make sure is that your IDs are up to date. A lot of times we'll have people, they'll come, they have their IDs, and some people even bring a passport just in case. Because sometimes you have a requirement of having 2 IDs. I don't necessarily recommend it, but if you have it, it's good to have.
Right. Just in case.
And then what you need is, if you are not wiring in your money, so there's a law called the Good Funds Law. And if you have to bring in more than $50,000 to closing, you have to wire it in. But if it's underneath that, you can bring in what's called the cashier's check. And I always recommend that. It's easier. You go to the bank, you can bring in a check, you bring that to closing with you as well. That's going to be the payment for your home.
Okay. So question, who gives them the amount of what they need to bring, in that cashier's check?
Great question. Yeah. So this gets passed around a little bit right before closing. Another thing to not be stressed out about it. It's par for the course. The lender and the title company are putting together all the figures, right? And the seller's attorney, if you're on the sell side, will also submit their version of the figures, because in Illinois, we have property taxes, we have credits, we have things that we have to let the title company and the lender know that are going on in the statement. And so this is a big moving piece of the puzzle, right? You have attorneys giving fees, you have lenders giving fees, you have title companies giving fees. And so what will inevitably happen is you'll get something from your lender that will say, hey, buyer, we're not going to be able to give you an exact final amount until maybe right before closing. But to be safe, we're going to tell you that you need to bring in X amount of dollars, and we recommend that you cushion it by $1,000 or $1,000 to $2,000. This way you'll be safe. There won't be any headaches at closing, and you won't have to leave the closing table to run to the bank in case you're short a few $100.
So when they bring this check, and let's say the amount for the closing is less, then what happens? Do they get a check back? They get, like, how does that work?
So if the check they bring is more than what they need, or
Yes.
if it's less than what they need?
Okay, if it's more.
I'll answer both. So if it's more, then you're going to get a check back for the overage, right? Which is always the question that I get. Oh, well, what if I bring in 2,000? Does it take me a week to get it back? A month? No, you get it back that day. The title company checks are just as good as cashier's checks. They might as well be a bank. And so you'll get that issued to you as soon as we close the transaction, and it'll be at the end of closing itself. And then conversely, if you bring in 2 less, Sometimes the title company will take a personal check, but only up to a certain amount. I believe it's nominal. And so if that's the case, then you'll have to run to the bank and get another cashier's check or institute a wire. And that can make a stressful thing already, that's already more stressful to begin with. So that's why we always recommend sending in a little bit more money. This way you don't have any headaches when you get to the closing.
Right. Absolutely. Yeah. And you don't want to have to, delay this buyer. You may have to come back the following days. So make sure you speak to your lender, speak to your attorney, follow their instructions, bring a little extra. And like Bill said, you will get a check back.
Right.
You will not keep all your money. Trust me, you'll get the difference back.
Yeah, we would love it as a tip, me and Nancy. But,
right.
But you get it back. You get it back.
Right. You get it back 100%. Okay. So they've received the instructions. They know what they need to bring in. Final walkthrough went well. And if it didn't, we'll whatever little points there are to bring up during closing, we've communicated that to you, the attorney who will be there with them. So what does that closing first of all, how long does the closing last and what does it look like? What
Sure.
are why you're doing? What are you doing? As their attorney? Yeah, like who's involved?
Yeah, that's a good question because I feel like closing has this sort of like ominous term, like closing. Everyone get there, it's super serious. It's like this big event. And it's not like that. It's you come to closing, it's a happy thing. The sellers want to sell you a house. You're ready to buy your home. Some of you, it'll be your first home. It'll be where you make your memories. And so this is a great time. We'll get to the table depending upon if it is a remote closing or if it is a in-person closing. A lot of times with COVID, there were some special rules and regulations that came into place. And so some of them are still remote, but in any event, I'll be present either over the phone or via Zoom or there in person, and we'll go over the paperwork. So you're going to get handed a packet that's like that big, and it looks daunting when you walk into the room, but trust me, it's nothing to be concerned about. It's a bunch of things that basically say, hey, you're a buyer, you're obligated to pay us, the bank, back because we're giving you a loan. And we want to make sure that in the event that you don't pay us back, here's the steps that we will take to collect our money and possibly take the house. And so what will happen is I'll go through the documents with you as the buyer, and then we'll go over everything from taxes, how to make your first payment, what an amortization schedule looks like, so all the payments for the life of your loan. And basically we kind of just work our way through signing the loan paperwork until we get to the seller documents. And they have to provide a set of documents for you that basically transfer you the house. You've now given all of your money that you have that you brought in the cashier's check or you wired into the closing. And so it's time for you to get something from the seller. And what we get from the seller is the home, right? And this is in the form of a warranty deed or a deed that comes from the seller to you. This document gets recorded electronically, usually right after closing. And that is what gives you title to the property. And that is really what we're there for. We're there for that deed, right? So once we get done signing documents, we kind of just sit around and we wait for the bank to review everything. We're waiting for the magic F word, okay? Funding.
Okay,
Funding.
gotcha.
There's the real estate attorney joke for you guys there.
We're full of jokes today. Actually,
once you hear that magic term funding, that's how you know that we're good to go and you can get your keys.
Nice. Yes. Yeah. So would you say that closings take, anywhere around an hour and a half to, I guess?
Yeah. So this is important. The title companies, they can close. Sometimes we get this from people because I know everybody's very busy. We all work our 9 to 5s or maybe longer. And so I get this question a lot, like, hey, Bill, I'm unable to get off of work. Can we schedule closing at 5 p.m.? Unfortunately, we can't do that. The title companies are open from 9 to 5, but they only schedule closings from 9 to about 3:30 because they can generally take 1 to 2 hours. And so I tell people to budget 2 hours for a closing, just to be safe in case something happens. If something happens during the walkthrough or there's some issues with the loan process, it could take a little bit longer. But I can say in all the closings that I've done over the years, there's only been one that hasn't closed at the table, and that was an issue that would never happen in any of your transactions. So
I know it has not happened, and we're very glad. So
yeah,
out of 3,000 or close to 3,000, only one hasn't closed. That's, that's great.
It's so rare. Yeah, it's so it will get done. It might seem tedious. It might seem like a long time, but trust me, at the end of it, you're a homeowner, and anything good in life always took a little bit of work, right? So
absolutely, yes. What's that saying? Anything. Oh, I'm gonna butcher it. I'm actually not gonna remember it. Anything worth having doesn't come easy.
Yeah.
Am I?
Yeah,
Did I do okay?
Yeah. You got it. Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, this is a big purchase, right? It's a big investment for a lot of us. It's one of the biggest investments in our life. So yes, we're going to have to work a little. Yes, we're going to have to submit extra paperwork to the mortgage company. We're going to have to sit at a closing table for an hour or two. So buyers, make sure you stretch your wrist a little. But yeah, at the end of it all, it's going to be worth it. Once you are done signing all those papers, then that's when you are handed the keys to your new home. And that's it. You're owner of your home. So yeah.
And don't forget, you got to take a bunch of pictures with Nancy and her team, because
that's another exactly. That's a requirement. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a very important, it's a very important accomplishment for a lot of us. So it's, of course, pictures, it's a celebration. So we love to take pictures with our clients, and we love for them to take pictures of, them in the property, maybe at our final walkthrough, or at closing, with the attorneys, or, whatever. So yes, pictures are mandatory. They're great memories. Yeah, so I think we've covered it all. Have you had any, I mean, I know you mentioned that, through all these years, you probably had one that didn't close, but have you had any other stories, any cool stories or?
Cool stories. No, here, this is what I'll say. So a boring transaction is what you want, right? The most boring ones are the ones that you want to come to the table and be like, oh my God, am I almost done with this? Yes, perfect, right? That's what we want. We don't want it to be a Jerry Springer episode at the table with pounding their fist and getting into a suits negotiation over a missed inspection item. So, so we want a boring closing. We don't want one of those ones we see on TV, and we want to make sure you guys get into your house, okay? And if you're selling it, you want it boring too. You don't want to hear. I know we talked a lot about the buying process, but on the sell side, you'll sign all of your documents ahead of closing, so it's not necessary to be present. There's probably about 10 documents to sign instead of the lender packet. And so you don't want a phone call from me in the middle of your closing. You want the phone call from me at the end where it says, hey, we're closed. Check your bank account. It just got a little bit bigger.
Yeah.
That's the sort of stuff that we're looking for. So I would say we'll keep the horror stories at bay, but the good ones is we want the boring ones for sure.
Yes, very true. And actually, thank you for bringing that up. I know, a lot of buyers have that question too, and even sellers, right? Like they ask, well, will the seller be there? Are we going to be in the same table? Am I going to be signing papers as he signs papers? But no, not usually. That was maybe back when, right?
Yeah, it happens, but it's more rare than it is. So I would venture to say that probably about 80% of you won't have the seller at the closing. So
yeah. Well, I think that's all. I think we've covered it all. If anyone has any questions, please comment on this Facebook Live, or just send us a message. We're here to be a resource for you. So you can message myself, you can message Ainhoa, we can message Bill. Bill, are you on social media?
Yes, I am. Instagram's 𝐵Iverson3. And then Facebook's just my name, Bill Iverson.
Bill Iverson. Nice. Okay. So thank you again, everyone, for joining. This has been great seeing seeing you guys join every week, every Tuesday. Again, this is our last Facebook Live. However, that doesn't mean that this will be our, our last seminar. We have many seminars throughout the year. So, stay tuned for our other seminars. We do have one coming up in January. But for that one, it will be geared just for buyers. And we will have a seminar of about an hour and a half. Where we go through the whole process. So stay tuned for that. We'll announce the dates and how you can go ahead and register. And then other than that, I don't know, Bill, if you've seen our social media, but we have a contest for our buyers. Or not for our buyers, for our clients, or where they post their Christmas trees, and then our viewers can vote for their favorite Christmas tree.
Okay,
and
that's fun.
And the winner will get a TV for the holidays.
I have a Christmas tree over here in the area of the Zoom area here, so you can see that little.
It needs a little star or something.
I don't think it's going to be winning the competition. Hopefully, your guys' is better.
We have had some amazing submissions. Like we've had, I think, a total of 18 trees, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, wow.
They're great. They're all so beautiful. I mean, our clients do a great job at, decorating for the holidays. So go on our social media, vote for your favorite Christmas tree. And we will be announcing. So we have all of this week to vote. And then we're going to announce the winner next week, Monday. So stay tuned for that. And then we're also having a big Christmas party this week, Thursday. So for the ones watching, if you want to attend, let me know. We have to give your names to, the company so you can get a ticket. And I think that's all. So Bill, thank you for joining. It's been a pleasure.
Bye.
Have a nice evening and we'll be in touch.
All right. Thanks for having me. Bye, guys.
Bye. Have a good night.